I'm Dr. William P. Coleman. I'm the editor-in-chief of the journal Dermatologic Surgery. And today I'd like to talk to you about how to review a manuscript for dermatologic surgery. You might wonder why you should be a reviewer. Certainly it helps your colleagues and in return helps you as reviewers of your own work. You can make the literature better. You can learn something every time you review. It makes you rethink your own biases, and it makes you a better author. Now, being a reviewer comes with certain responsibilities. Reviewers receive requests to review from assistant editors. You are chosen because of your specific expertise. If you cannot do the review, tell us immediately. Authors are entitled to expeditious reviews. Think about it as if you just submitted the article yourself. You'd want to get an answer as quickly as possible. So try to complete the review within a week and press send to circulate it back to the assistant editor. We keep track of the best reviewers and gradually advance them to the editorial board and to become assistant editors. Now, how do you begin the review? First, familiarize yourself with author instructions. Those are on the journal website. Make sure that the manuscript is in the proper format. Is it an article, a full scientific article, or is it a communication, 1,000 words or less? Is the word count within the allotted budget? Are all components present? In a full article, of course, we'd want an abstract and introduction, methods, results, the whole thing. Is it a single author or multiple author paper? I have a bias that single author papers have more of a chance of bias because I often understand that a person who's writing it by themselves may have blind spots for various mistakes. Understand the aims and conclusions of the manuscript. The first read-through. Skim the paper, make notes. Are the main questions relevant? Are they interesting? Is the paper original? Is it novel? Is it well written? Are there language barriers? Are the conclusions consistent with the evidence? Is there the correct number of tables and figures? Do they add anything? Spot major or fatal flaws. For instance, the conclusion doesn't match the evidence, or poor study design, or methodology unsound. Is there insufficient data or too small of an N for the claims? Proper use of statistics. Ask for help if you don't understand the statistical method used. Does the paper add little to the current understanding? Next, you're going to write an initial review. State the research question and conclusions. Contextualize the research for the editor. Tell the author what key messages are being conveyed to the reader. Mention the successful parts of the manuscript. Confirm if you think the premise is important. Say if the methods are appropriate and do they support the conclusion. Next, do a second read-through. Identify where the meaning is ambiguous. Note factual errors, invalid arguments. Check if the title fits the subject and the conclusion. Make sure the abstract is a clear, concise summary. Is the manuscript of an appropriate length? Suggest grammar improvement. Translation assistance if necessary. The author instructions list a specific company, editage.com, that can be used for translation assistance. Expand the review. Provide comments for each section. So don't just say accept or reject. Give us specific comments that we can take back to the author. Comments on the abstract, comments on the introduction, the method, the results, the discussion, the conclusions. If you suspect plagiarism, this includes self-plagiarism, tell the editor, ask for guidance, and cite examples so the editor will understand what you're talking about. Realize that detecting plagiarism during review is far better than after publication. It may be accidental, and it's really bad if it gets published and the author gets dragged through the coals for it later. Recommendation. This is where you give the editor a decision and where you offer advice to the authors. Acceptance on the first review is very unusual, in our case less than 1%. Revisions give the authors a chance to improve the manuscript. I tell people to pretend you are the co-author. Would you send this in and feel proud of it yourself? If not, how would you change it? Checking accept, revise, or reject without clear comments to the author and editors is really useless. Rejection should be accompanied by good reasons. We've got to tell the author why we're rejecting their paper. Keep all comments about the research and not the authors. Don't get personal. Be polite. but do not unduly encourage an author while meanwhile making confidential critical comments to the editor, because there'll be some confusion there. Give constructive feedback so that they can take the article and revise it, maybe send it back to our journal or at least another journal in much better condition. Finally, complete the review. Check your work. If you attach a copy of the manuscript with your comments, do not reveal your identity. Be sure to fill out the review form completely. And then we'd love it if you volunteered a written commentary if you feel it would add value to the publications. Be sure at the end of all this to press send to complete the review. After you send the review in, the assistant editor will collate your and other reviews and add more input. The editor-in-chief will then make the final decision and add further input. Authors who are asked to revise do so and then send their improved manuscript back. It is then routed back to the assistant editor. The cycle begins again, and you may be asked to re-review the paper. After peer review is complete, reviewers receive a copy of the final decision letter. The decision is confidential and should not be discussed outside of those involved in the review. If the author decides to revise the manuscript and resubmit, you may receive an invitation to review the new submission. The editors depend upon and appreciate the reviewers. Without you, peer review would be difficult. Your experience in specific areas is invaluable to the editors and readers. When you see the manuscript in print, you'll probably feel a bit of satisfaction and a job well done. Thank you for reviewing for dermatologic surgery.